Isabella Martinez hadn't expected to discover anything extraordinary during her regular signal analysis shift at the New Mexico Deep Space Listening Array. The massive radio telescopes had been picking up the usual cosmic background noise, distant pulsars, and the occasional satellite transmission. But as she sifted through the day's data, an unusual pattern caught her attention. Take a look at this, she called out to the empty control room, a habit she'd developed during her late-night shifts. The pattern wasn't just random cosmic noise. It had structure, rhythm, and most importantly, it was repeating across multiple frequencies. Isabella's fingers flew across the keyboard as she refined the signal processing algorithms. The more she cleaned up the noise, the clearer the pattern became. It wasn't just one transmission. It was thousands of them, overlapping and interweaving like threads in a tapestry. The computer's translation matrix began processing the cleaner signals, and Isabella's eyes widened as the first coherent phrases appeared on her screen. They were stories. Thousands upon thousands of stories, all being transmitted between different points in space. But what made her coffee mug slip from her suddenly trembling fingers was the subject matter. They were all about humans. She spent the next 4 hours downloading and cataloging as much as she could. The stories came in various forms: entertainment broadcasts, educational materials, and even academic papers. All of them discussed humans with a strange mix of fascination, speculation, and complete misunderstanding. When Director Thompson arrived for the morning shift, he found Isabella surrounded by holographic displays showing dozens of translated texts. "You look like you've seen a ghost," he said, noting her untouched breakfast sandwich. "Better," Isabella replied, not taking her eyes off the screens. "I've seen how aliens see us, and it's nothing like we imagined." She pulled up one of the translated broadcasts, a popular entertainment program from something calling itself the Galactic Cultural Network. Listen to this. In today's episode of Understanding Humans, a scientific analysis, we explore the fascinating ritual of human hibernation in their artificial cocoons, commonly known as beds. These remarkable creatures can enter a state of temporary death for approximately 1/3 of their solar cycle. Director Thompson's eyebrows shot up. "They think we hibernate." "That's just the beginning," Isabella said, pulling up another translation. "This one's from their equivalent of an academic journal. They have an entire field of study dedicated to theoretical human biology. But here's the catch. They've never actually made contact with Earth. Everything they know about us comes from fragments of our broadcasts that made it into space, and they've been building their theories on massive misunderstandings." She brought up a statistical analysis she'd compiled overnight. The earliest stories about humans in their records date back 300 years, but the depictions keep evolving as they pick up more of our signals. It's like the galaxy's longest game of telephone, with each civilization adding its own interpretation. Director Thompson sank into a chair, his morning coffee forgotten. "How many species are we talking about?" "At least 20 distinct civilizations contributing to the literature, possibly more," Isabella replied, bringing up a star map dotted with points of transmission origin. "And the really interesting part, while they're getting almost all the details wrong, they're somehow arriving at some fundamental truths about human nature through their misunderstandings." She highlighted a particular passage from what appeared to be a children's educational text. "Humans possess the remarkable ability to adapt to any environment through their mastery of tool creation and social cooperation. This makes them one of the most fascinating species in known space, despite their current pre-contact status. We need to assemble a team," Director Thompson said, already reaching for his phone. "If we're going to understand the implications of this." "Already on it," Isabella interrupted, pulling up a list of names. "We're going to need linguists, anthropologists, media analysts, and probably a few science fiction writers. Because right now, the entire galaxy is writing stories about us, and we need to understand why." She glanced at the continuing stream of translations flowing across her screens, and we need to figure it out before they realize we're listening." "You have got to be kidding me," Professor Michael Anderson said, staring at the holographic projection. The linguistics expert had joined Isabella's team 2 weeks after her initial discovery, and now they were all gathered in what had become known as the fiction room at the array facility. The projection showed 2 pieces of alien entertainment media side by side. On the left, a dramatization of what aliens imagined to be a typical human diplomatic meeting. On the right, the source material they'd based it on, a 1985 wrestling match. "Not kidding at all," Isabella replied, highlighting key similarities between the 2 recordings. "This appears to be one of the earliest human broadcasts they intercepted. The aliens interpreted professional wrestling as our formal method of conflict resolution." Michael leaned forward, adjusting his glasses. "So when they show human diplomats here," he pointed to the alien drama. "Yep, they're expecting us to solve international disputes through choreographed combat," Isabella finished, complete with dramatic monologues before each negotiation session. The team had spent weeks tracing back the evolution of human depiction in alien media. The wrestling broadcast had created the foundation for how aliens imagined human political structures, a society where status was determined by elaborate combat rituals and the ability to deliver impressive speeches while maintaining dramatic pose. "But that's not even the best part," said Rachel Torres, their media analysis specialist. She gestured, and the right side of the projection changed to show a soap opera final from the same era. This signal got picked up about 3 months after the wrestling broadcast. The scene showed a dramatic hospital confrontation, complete with revelations about secret twins, betrayed loves, and miraculous recoveries. The alien interpretation on the left showed their attempt to integrate this new documentary footage into their understanding of human society. They thought both broadcasts were real, Rachel explained, highlighting sections of the alien academic analysis. So they concluded that humans have complex emotional bonds that can be formed, broken, and dramatically reformed, often multiple times with the same person, through ritual combat and emotional declarations. "Look at how they interpreted the hospital scene," Isabella added, zooming in on a particular segment. "They believe humans could transfer life force through what they called the pressing of face membranes." "Kissing," Michael translated, shaking his head. "They think kissing is some kind of energy transfer ritual." The team watched as the alien drama played out its interpretation of human interaction. The characters moved in exaggerated ways, clearly mimicking both wrestling promos and soap opera confrontations. Every conversation ended either in a stylized battle or an intense emotional declaration, usually both. "The really fascinating part," Isabella said, pulling up another document, "is how these misunderstandings shape their expectations of us. There are entire diplomatic protocols being developed based on this understanding of human nature. They're literally preparing for first contact by training their diplomats to engage in ritual combat and emotional energy exchanges." Director Thompson, who had been quietly observing from the back of the room, finally spoke up. "Should we be worried about this?" Rachel shook her head, smiling. "Actually, in a weird way, they're not entirely wrong. Look at the underlying assumptions. They believe humans are beings who solve conflicts through a combination of physical prowess and emotional intelligence. They think we value both strength and reconciliation. They've concluded that humans can forge powerful bonds even with former adversaries. So while the details are hilariously wrong," Isabella began, "they've somehow stumbled onto some basic truths about human nature," Michael finished. "Though I'm a bit concerned about their expectations for our diplomatic court's wrestling abilities." "Keep going," Director Thompson said, gesturing to the timeline they'd constructed. "What happened when they started picking up other types of broadcasts?" Isabella's smile widened as she pulled up the next set of signals. "Oh, wait until you see what happened when they discovered reality TV." Isabella stared at the latest batch of translations, running her hands through her hair in disbelief. "They think voting someone off the island is a sacred human ritual for achieving spiritual enlightenment. The fiction room had expanded over the past month, with holographic displays now covering entire walls. The team had added 2 new members, entertainment historian Oliver Kent and cultural anthropologist Maya Patel, both of whom were currently trying not to laugh at the alien interpretations of reality TV shows. "Look at this," Maya said, pulling up an alien documentary. They've created an entire philosophical framework around what they call the trial of survival wisdom. According to their scholars, humans deliberately strand themselves in hostile environments to undergo spiritual transformation through the ancient arts of alliance building and immunity challenges. Oliver nodded, adding, "And they've completely merged it with their understanding of home renovation shows. They think humans can reshape any environment through sheer force of will, guided by wise masters they call property brothers." The alien footage showed their dramatization of what they believed to be typical human habitat creation. A group of humans standing in a circle, making dramatic declarations about open-concept living before mysteriously transforming a desolate space into a livable environment within an impossibly short time frame. They've concluded that humans have some sort of time manipulation ability, Rachel explained, highlighting passages from various alien analyses. They can't understand how we transform spaces so quickly, so they've decided we must have control over temporal mechanics. But that's not even the best part, Isabella said, switching to another recording. "Wait until you see what happened when they got hold of talent show broadcasts." The team watched as alien entertainment networks attempted to recreate what they believed to be humanity's method of rapidly developing new abilities. The aliens had become convinced that humans could master any skill through a process they called montage magic, a mysterious power activated by upbeat background music and quick cuts between scenes of practice. They've started incorporating these beliefs into their technological development, Michael added, bringing up several technical documents. "Look at these designs for first contact facilities. They're building in special chambers they call confessional rooms, where they believe humans need to regularly deliver emotional monologues to maintain their psychological balance." Maya studied the documents with growing fascination. It's like they're creating a religion around human behavior patterns they don't understand. These ritual spaces, the belief in our temporal manipulation abilities, the sacred trials of skill development. Speaking of religion, Oliver interrupted, pulling up another file. "You won't believe what happened when cooking competition shows entered the mix. There's an entire sect that believes Gordon Ramsay is some kind of deity of transformation." Director Thompson, who had just entered the room, stopped mid-stride. "I'm sorry. What?" "Oh yes," Isabella said, barely containing her amusement. They've designated him as the Great Transformer who can transmute raw materials into sacred substances through the application of heat and profanity. They think swearing is part of the alchemical process. "We're going to need to prepare our actual chefs for first contact," Rachel noted. "The aliens are expecting them to be combination priest scientists capable of molecular restructuring." "The fascinating thing is," Maya said, her anthropologist's mind clearly racing, "they're building these elaborate misconceptions, but they're also inadvertently preparing themselves for actual human traits. They're learning to expect adaptability, creativity, and transformation as core human characteristics." Isabella nodded, adding another data point to their timeline. "They're wrong about how we do it, but they're right about what we can do. Though I'm a bit worried about their expectations for our interior decorators." "What's next in the signal timeline?" Director Thompson asked, eyeing the growing web of alien media analysis. Maya pulled up the next cluster of transmissions and her eyes widened. Oh my. They just discovered nature documentaries." The room fell silent as they began to read the alien interpretations of David Attenborough's soothing narration and what it led them to believe about humanity's relationship with Earth's creatures. "They think our microwaves are matter replicators," Oliver announced, spreading out his latest analysis across the holographic display. 3 months into the project, The fiction room had started to resemble a conspiracy theorist's den, with glowing threads connecting different alien interpretations of human culture. Isabella zoomed in on a particular alien entertainment broadcast, where their version of a cooking show featured beings attempting to recreate what they imagined to be human food preparation rituals. The aliens moved in elaborate patterns around their workstations, making dramatic gestures while chanting what they believed to be sacred incantations. "Are they saying Bam and Yummo?" Maya asked, tilting her head to listen more carefully. "They intercepted a lot of Food Network," Rachel explained, pulling up the original broadcast timeline. "They think these are ritual words of power that activate our food transformation abilities. There's an entire spiritual movement based on Emerald Lagasse's catchphrases." The team watched as the alien chef priests performed their interpretation of human cooking. They held ingredients up to floating cameras, describing their molecular potential before applying what they called the sacred heat and the blessed seasonings. "Look at this academic paper," Michael said, highlighting a document titled Understanding Human Transmutation Abilities, a scientific analysis of culinary alchemy. "They think we can convert any matter into sustenance through our mastery of thermal manipulation and chemical enhancement." "Well, that's not entirely wrong," Oliver pointed out. "Cooking is chemistry, after all." "Yes, but they think we can literally transmute elements," Isabella replied. "There's an entire genre of alien science fiction about humans saving dying stars by cooking new elements into existence. They call it galactic gastronomy." Director Thompson, who had grown accustomed to these revelations, merely sighed. "Please tell me they don't think we can actually eat stars." No, Maya assured him, then paused. "They think we can eat anything except stars. Those we apparently just renovate through the power of seasoning." The room's main screen displayed clips from various alien documentaries about human eating habits. They had somehow concluded that humans' ability to eat spicy food meant they could consume plasma, while the concept of freezing food had led to theories about humans being able to eat absolute zero. "The really interesting part," Rachel said, pulling up another set of cultural analyses, "is how this has affected their preparation for first contact. Look at their diplomatic dining protocols." The team examined the elaborate instructions for hosting human guests. The aliens had designed special chambers they called kitchen laboratories, where they believed humans would need to perform their daily matter conversion rituals. They had even attempted to recreate what they thought were essential human cooking tools, resulting in some truly bizarre interpretations of spatulas and measuring cups. "They've turned cooking shows into their version of our space program," Isabella marveled. "They think mastering these rituals will help them understand how humans manipulate matter and energy." "Speaking of energy," Oliver interjected, "wait until you see what happened when they discovered competitive eating contests. They think humans can absorb and store massive amounts of energy for later use, like some kind of organic battery." Maya studied the cultural implications with growing fascination. "They're developing an entire branch of theoretical physics based on misunderstanding how hot dogs work." "Should we be concerned?" Director Thompson asked, watching an alien scientist's earnest presentation about the quantum gastronomy of human digestion. "Actually," Isabella said thoughtfully, "this might work in our favor. They're expecting us to be incredibly adaptable with resources and materials. They're preparing to accommodate what they think are our needs for constant matter transformation. In trying to understand our cooking, they're accidentally learning about human creativity and resourcefulness." The room fell quiet as they considered this, until Rachel broke the silence. "Still, someone's going to have to explain to them that Guy Fieri isn't actually the Lord of Elemental Fire." "One step at a time," Isabella replied, turning to the next set of signals. "First, we need to deal with what happened when they discovered home improvement shows." "According to this," Maya said, gesturing at the latest alien documentary analysis, "they believe humans can command entire ecosystems through something they call the whispering power. They think David Attenborough is some kind of supreme wildlife telepath." The fiction room had been expanded again, now taking up an entire wing of the facility. New holographic displays showed clips from nature documentaries alongside alien interpretations of human-animal interactions. "It gets better," Oliver added, pulling up another translation. "They think our clothing is some kind of biological feature. When they saw footage of people changing outfits, they concluded humans can shed and regrow protective layers at will." Isabella studied the alien scientific papers that had emerged from these misunderstandings. They've developed an entire branch of theoretical biology around what they call human environmental adaptation mechanisms. "Look at this. They think we hibernate in artificial cocoons every night to regenerate our skin coverings." "You mean beds and pajamas?" Rachel asked, trying not to laugh. "Exactly. They've written thousands of papers about the miraculous human ability to rapidly evolve new protective layers for any environment. There's an entire field of study dedicated to understanding how we manifest appropriate camouflage. They think shopping for clothes is actually a biological process." Michael brought up footage from an alien nature program about humans. The narrator solemnly explained how humans would enter special chambers called moles to trigger their evolutionary adaptation response, emerging with new protective layers suited to their needs. "But here's where it gets truly interesting," Maya said, highlighting several cultural analysis documents. "They've started incorporating these beliefs into their technological development. Look at these designs for first contact facilities." The team examined the elaborate blueprints. The aliens had created climate-controlled chambers that could rapidly shift between environments, believing humans needed to regularly trigger their adaptation responses to maintain their health. "They think we're some kind of environmental shapeshifters," Oliver observed. "And they've completely misunderstood our relationship with animals. They believe every human has the ability to form telepathic bonds with Earth creatures." The pet videos didn't help, Rachel noted, bringing up clips of cat and dog videos alongside alien analysis. "They think we maintain armies of loyal animal companions through psychic connections. They've concluded that every human household is actually a complex ecosystem managed through mental bonds." Director Thompson, who had been quietly observing, finally spoke up. "How are they explaining the different types of pets they see in videos?" "Oh, that's the best part," Isabella said, pulling up more alien academic papers. "They think each human specializes in different creature types based on their personal psychic frequencies. Cat people and dog people aren't just preferences to them. They think it's a biological specialization." The room's main display showed alien dramatizations of what they expected human homes to be like. Elaborate multi-environment habitats where humans would regularly cycle through different protective layers while mentally commanding various animal companions. "They're going to be very disappointed when they meet real humans," Michael mused. "Maybe not," Maya countered, highlighting passages from various alien documents. "Look at the underlying assumptions they're making. They think humans are incredibly adaptable, capable of building relationships with different species, and able to thrive in various environments. They're wrong about how we do it, but they're not wrong about what we can do." Isabella nodded thoughtfully. "They think we have supernatural abilities, but they're actually documenting very real human traits. Our adaptability, our ability to form bonds with animals, our use of tools and clothing to survive in different environments." "Still," Rachel said, "someone's going to have to explain that a walk-in closet isn't actually a cocoon chamber for triggering evolutionary changes." "Add it to the list," Director Thompson sighed, watching as yet another alien documentary solemnly explained how humans used their sacred chambers of transformation to prepare for different environmental challenges. "What's the next set of signals in the timeline?" Maya's eyes widened as she pulled up the data. "Oh dear. They just discovered superhero movies. You need to see this," Maya called out, her voice drawing the team to the central display in the fiction room. They think superhero movies are historical documentaries about human evolutionary stages. The screen showed alien scientific papers analyzing what they called the Great Power Manifestation Era of Human Development. Alongside the papers were clips from various superhero movies, each accompanied by earnest alien commentary about human genetic potential. According to their leading scientists, Isabella Reed, trying to keep her voice steady, each human contains dormant abilities that can be activated through exposure to radiation, genetic modification, or in some cases, extreme emotional states. They think Tony Stark is a typical example of human technological achievement, Oliver added, bringing up more alien analysis. There's an entire engineering movement dedicated to understanding how humans channel their natural energy into powered exoskeletons. The team watched as alien documentaries solemnly explained how humans routinely developed extraordinary abilities through what they termed origin story catalysts. They had categorized different types of power manifestation and were developing theories about how to safely interact with such a volatile species. Look at their first contact protocols, Rachel said, highlighting several documents. They're designing their facilities to withstand everything from super strength to energy projection. They genuinely believe they need to prepare for humans accidentally triggering their latent abilities during diplomatic meetings. Michael, who had been quiet for a while, suddenly straightened up. Wait a minute. Cross-reference these analysis papers with the earlier ones about reality shows and nature documentaries. As the data overlapped on the holographic display, a pattern emerged. The aliens hadn't just accepted superhero movies as fact, they had integrated them into their existing misunderstandings about human nature. They think reality shows about home renovation are actually documenting humans with matter manipulation powers, Isabella realized. And nature documentaries. They believe David Attenborough is essentially Dr. Dolittle, Maya finished, a powerful telepath documenting his interactions with Earth's creatures for future generations. Director Thompson rubbed his temples. Are you telling me they think every human is potentially a superhero? Not exactly, Oliver said, pulling up more recent alien media. They've developed a more nuanced theory. They think humans exist in different specialized categories, each with their own potential powers. They're writing what they consider serious scientific papers about the various power manifestation paths humans might take. The room's displays filled with alien attempts to categorize human abilities. They had created elaborate charts linking different human activities to potential superpowers. Chefs were energy manipulators, athletes were enhanced beings, engineers were tech shamans, and artists were reality warpers. The really fascinating part, Maya said, is how this is affecting their own cultural development. Look at these entertainment programs. The team watched as alien shows depicted their own species discovering their inner human potential. Stories about aliens learning to push their boundaries and develop new abilities have become incredibly popular across multiple civilizations. They're using their misunderstanding of humans as inspiration, Isabella mused. They're wrong about the superpowers, but they're accidentally promoting very real human traits, innovation, persistence, adaptability, and creating expectations we can never live up to, Director Thompson pointed out. Maybe, Rachel said thoughtfully, but look at how they're preparing for us. They're expecting a species that can overcome incredible challenges, adapt to any situation, and constantly push the boundaries of what's possible. They're wrong about the mechanics, but they're ready for human ingenuity and determination. The room fell quiet as they considered this. Finally, Maya spoke up. Should we be worried about their reaction when they discover humans can't actually fly or shoot energy beams? I'm more concerned about this, Michael said, pulling up the latest batch of signal analyses. They just found streaming services. They think we can access multiple parallel universes of our own histories for entertainment. Isabella's eyes widened as she saw the new data. Oh no. They found the Marvel multiverse. The numbers are staggering, Rachel announced, projecting the financial data across the fiction room's main display. The galactic entertainment industry has invested the equivalent of trillions of Earth dollars in human-based media franchises. The team had spent the last week analyzing the economic implications of their discoveries. The holographic displays showed streaming numbers, merchandising figures, and entertainment revenue from dozens of alien civilizations. Look at these franchise titles, Oliver said, scrolling through an endless list. Humans, Beyond the Stars, Earth's Mightiest, The Human Factor. They built entire entertainment empires around their misunderstandings of us. Isabella studied the market projections. According to this, human-themed entertainment makes up nearly 30% of all media consumption in known space. They're not just telling stories anymore. They've created an entire economy based on their version of humanity. And that's not even counting the theme parks, Maya added, bringing up images that made everyone pause. Massive entertainment complexes across various worlds attempted to recreate what aliens thought human life was like, complete with simulated shopping malls for evolutionary adaptation and kitchen arenas for matter transformation contests. Director Thompson paced the room, his concern evident. So we're not just dealing with scientific misunderstandings anymore. We're facing an entire cultural and economic infrastructure built around these beliefs. It gets more complicated, Michael said, highlighting recent alien news broadcasts. Look what happened when one scientist suggested that some of their human theories might be inaccurate. The team watched as the alien scientist was thoroughly discredited by colleagues and entertainment industry experts who claimed to have definitive proof of human abilities through their extensive media archives. They're so invested in their version of humanity that they're actively rejecting any evidence that might contradict it, Maya observed. The entertainment industry has essentially created a self-reinforcing mythology. Isabella pulled up more recent data. And now, with their discovery of streaming services, they think we've mastered parallel universe viewing technology. They believe we can actually access and watch alternate timelines of our own history for entertainment. The Marvel multiverse really didn't help with that misconception, Oliver noted dryly. But here's what's fascinating, Rachel said, overlaying multiple datasets. While they're completely wrong about the specifics, they're accidentally preparing themselves for the real challenges of human interaction. The room's displays shifted to show alien cultural adaptation strategies. Companies were developing technologies to keep up with what they believed would be humanity's rapid pace of innovation. Diplomatic corps were training to handle unexpected situations and creative problem-solving approaches. They think they're preparing for superhumans, Maya explained. But they're actually preparing for human ingenuity and adaptability. They're expecting a species that can overcome any obstacle, find creative solutions, and constantly push boundaries. Director Thompson stopped pacing. So you're saying their mistakes might actually help with first contact? In a way, Isabella replied. They're approaching us with a mindset of humans can do anything. They're just wrong about how we do it. They're expecting innovation, determination, and ability to overcome challenges. They're just packaging it in a more theatrical way. Still, Michael said, someone's going to have to explain why we can't actually access parallel universes through Netflix. Add it to the list, Rachel sighed, bringing up their ever-growing document of things to clarify during first contact. The room fell quiet as they contemplated the magnitude of their situation. Here was an entire galactic civilization that had spent centuries building an elaborate mythology around humanity, investing untold resources into preparing for a species that existed only in their imagination. Look at this, Maya said suddenly, highlighting a pattern in the data. The latest entertainment trends show something interesting. They're starting to tell stories about the moment of first contact, about what happens when their version of humanity finally joins the galactic community. Isabella leaned forward, studying the new information. They're not just telling our story anymore. Isabella stood in the observation room of the newly constructed First Contact Center, watching as final preparations were made for humanity's official debut on the galactic stage. The facility represented an amusing compromise between alien expectations and human reality. Clean, professional meeting spaces that somehow also included meditation chambers for power manifestation and specialized areas for environmental adaptation rituals. They still think we're going to show up in self-generated protective layers, Maya said, joining her at the window. The alien diplomatic team below was making final adjustments to their environmental controls, ready for humans to display their supposedly remarkable shape-shifting abilities. At least they removed the combat arena from the negotiation room, Oliver added, reviewing the facility blueprints. Though they did keep the emotional energy transfer station in the corner. You mean the water cooler? Rachel asked, trying not to smile. The team had spent the last month preparing for this moment, trying to find a way to introduce real humans to a galactic community that had spent centuries mythologizing them. Director Thompson had assigned them as cultural advisors to the First Contact team, hoping their understanding of alien expectations might help bridge the gap between fiction and reality. Latest update from the alien media, Michael announced, bringing up the news feeds. They're running retrospectives on their favorite human-based entertainment. Current popular theory is that we've been deliberately leaking transmissions for centuries to prepare them for our arrival. Isabella watched as alien networks broadcast their documentary footage of human abilities. They built us up so much. How do we tell them we can't actually transform matter or control the elements or access parallel universes? Maybe we don't have to. Not right away, Maya said thoughtfully. Look at what they're really preparing for, beneath all the supernatural expectations. The room's displays showed alien preparations across multiple worlds. Yes, they had reinforced their structures to withstand non-existent superstrength, but they had also developed incredible adaptive technologies. They had created translation systems capable of handling multiple forms of communication, believing humans might speak telepathically. They had prepared for rapid technological integration, thinking humans could instantly interface with any system. They're ready for us to surprise them, Rachel realized. They're expecting the unexpected. Exactly, Maya nodded. They think we'll show up with supernatural abilities, but they've actually prepared themselves for human ingenuity, adaptability, and innovation. They're ready for us to solve problems in ways they haven't imagined. Director Thompson entered the room, carrying the final briefing documents. The first human delegation arrives in an hour. Are we ready for this? Isabella looked at her team, then back at the alien preparation below. They've spent centuries creating an impossible version of humanity to look up to. But in doing so, they've accidentally prepared themselves for our real strengths. And perhaps, Oliver added, they've prepared us too. Their stories about human potential have circulated back to Earth. Maybe we needed to see ourselves through their eyes, to see what we could become. The first transport vehicles were arriving now, carrying the human diplomatic team. Isabella watched as the alien staff below straightened their postures, ready to witness what they believed would be displays of remarkable human abilities. They're going to be disappointed, Director Thompson said. No, Isabella replied, smiling as she watched the first human diplomats emerge. They're going to be amazed, just not in the way they expect. They're about to meet a species that doesn't need superpowers or reality manipulation to do remarkable things. Although, Maya added with a grin, someone still needs to explain to them that Netflix isn't actually a window into parallel universes. One step at a time, Isabella said, heading for the door. First, let's show them what real humans can do. After all, they've spent centuries preparing for a species that can overcome any challenge and adapt to any situation. She paused at the threshold, looking back at her team. And you know what? They're not entirely wrong about that part.